Mm-hmm.
It is.
And then some.
Yes.
Is there a charge?
Let's get it going. Here we go. Good Sunday morning. You are listening to Access Houston. This is a very special edition of Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth, with everything that has been going on last week with the shooting of Alton Sterling, and then the next day we had Philando Castile, and then we had the Dallas shootings, and then there was another shooting that totally missed the media, a young man in Brooklyn, New York, who was shot and killed by an off-duty officer. You know, we kind of missed that one because there was no video. And so in the studio with me today, I've decided to do a roundtable discussion. And so we have BLM HTX is in the building, as well as the Houston Millennials, and other people will be coming out to give their opinion, and let's have this discussion. So welcome everybody to Access Houston.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, if you don't mind, if everyone could go around and introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Alexandria Monique. I am the founder and CEO of LeBron Bay, a minority empowerment group that is in the Houston, Texas area.
Okay. You, my darling.
Hello, my name is Samantha Blair Joseph. I'm the Chief of Staff for the Houston Millennials, and our mission is to grow and empower millennial influence in society in order to generate transformative change through various activities with the focus on identifying and elevating the next generation of leaders.
Nice.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Antonio Ariano. I'm the Vice President of Communications for the Houston Millennials. I'm glad that we are a part of this dialogue, and I'm glad that we're discussing this. It's very important that we do.
Very, very good. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Courtney Collins, and I'm a member of the Houston Millennials and also a rising second-year law student at the University of Houston Law Center.
Nice.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Berkman. I am the Vice Chair of Communications for the Houston Millennials, and we're very glad to be here. Thank you for having us.
Good morning. My name is James Burnett. I'm the Executive Liaison for Houston Millennials, and I'm glad to be here and ready for this discussion.
Yeah.
My name is Brandy Holmes. I'm with BLM HTX. I'm the Director of Strategy and Activism.
Hello, my name is Seconda Joseph. I'm with BLM HTX, and I am the Digital Media Coordinator.
Greetings, Cleve Tinsley. I'm the organizer with BLM HTX and Director of Community Partnerships.
Well, thank you all for being here. I had the idea of doing this on Thursday after, all of the conversation of Philando, because here we had a gentleman, as we watched Young Diamond's Facebook Live broadcast, here we have a guy, according to her, and I believe every word that she said, he complied. He told him, I have a gun, but I am licensed to carry. Keep your hands out. Let me see your hands. Okay. Let me see your hands. Okay. All right, now go. I need your ID. Okay, bow.
Yeah.
So somebody, even when black people do comply, they still get shot and killed.
Okay.
I would like to know your thoughts. I mean, we've been going through this forever, but it's been consistent for 2 summers now. Thoughts? Anyone can jump in on when you heard about Alton.
I would say my thoughts, it was actually my birthday that he died. And I was completely shaken by it, simply because I already knew that this was going to be a situation of someone being bullied by the police, by individuals with the God complex that think that they have the authority to rule all and end all. And I was deeply moved. I really was. I was deeply moved. So, I mean, of course, filled with rage like everyone else. And then when you see the video and you see that they had him, because like you said, the argument of resisting arrest, I see so many people that are utilizing that argument, and it really upsets me, simply because we all know, and we've all, even before just this month, we've already seen examples of complying, of just walking, of just talking, of just breathing, where we are just killed off like we're dogs. And
The dog is given more respect. than
yeah,
the
it
lion.
is. It is. A gorilla was given more respect in our lives. And all we want is equality. All we want is that human decency. I mean, it's common sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so heartbreaking. I did not watch the video. Let me state that. I won't watch the video. I won't demean that man to his demise. I'm sure he was way more valuable in general, on this earth, and I won't even watch it. I don't need to watch it to know that justice and it was a very heinous crime. I don't have to, So, yeah, I mean, I just was bothered when I read the story.
I think when I was watching the video, and I probably watched it a dozen times from every different angle that is out there in the media right now, one of the things that I noticed was the convenience. I felt like it was convenient that his body camera fell off, and it was convenient that he was able to confiscate the store owner's cameras, and that it was convenient that, he just happened to be there at that time. And he was saying that, we're just here trying to regulate law, things like that. But what I noticed was that these officers have so much convenience that these civilians and that these black people do not have. Black people literally don't get a chance to think before action is taken upon them. And so if anything, I want to say that A, there needs to be more accountability, and B, I think that we're just scared. I think that a lot of people out here at this point are afraid, and that's not a way to operate in a society that is supposed to be working. So my main thing here is that there has to be some type of accountability.
Not only a society that's supposed to be working, but a group of individuals who are supposed to work for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is my tax dollars that pay your salary.
Right.
You, Mr. Police Officer, you, State Representative, you, Mr. Man on the Senate, you work for me. And they tend to forget that.
I am completely in accordance with you. I remember waking up and hearing about the Minnesota shooting of Mr. Philando Castillo. And I said, this has got to stop. I had just left the courthouse a couple of days before addressing the whole gun issue in this country. And then this continues to happen. And what happens as a minority is that I realize, and I know because I am a Hispanic, that whenever a cop comes near me, I no longer feel safe. I feel concerned. I feel worried. I feel scared. And that should never be the case, especially in 2016 in America. It's important that we stop criminalizing people because of their color and stop feeling threatened because there's a black man in the room. That is not the way that this should be operating, and I think that that's what's happening. I think that a lot of people are quick to jump to conclusions and say there's a black man with a gun, shoot him, and that should not occur. And like Samantha talked about, accountability needs to happen. I think the frustration that we all share is because we keep hearing not guilty, not guilty.
No indictment. No indictment.
These men aren't killing themselves, Something needs to happen.
Yeah. Anyone else want to chime in?
Go ahead.
Yeah, when I first heard of the shooting the police involved in shooting with Alton Sterling, I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My father still lives there. I have uncles that live there, cousins who live there. And my heart just really wanted to pound out in my chest.
What is the pulse of the city, or what was the pulse of the city during that time?
Well, I haven't lived there since I was a young child, but
even in talking to some of your family members that are still
right.
there?
I know that it was very, very chaotic in the streets, and people were just people. Sometimes people can find that unity when they're in such despair, and so I think that if you watch some of the videos from the protests and rallies at night, it's like people were trying to come together, but it seems like we always have to come together when someone dies, when this happens, and that's what hurts me the most. And it's sad that black and brown bodies have become so disposable in our criminal justice system. I heard someone say this, when you relegate someone to being less than human, that's a mandate for murder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
still considered 3/5 to them.
Right.
Yeah.
They've dehumanized us for hundreds of years.
God.
And the images that continue to go out on the media about us just continue to perpetuate the stereotype where hypersexual, we're aggressive, we're angry, we're savages, we're this and we're that. With everything that the media is doing, see, there's some the media is a tricky little bitch.
It is.
She is. As I'm watching the things unfold Thursday night for Philando Castile, and then they jump in with when the protest in Dallas was over, and then there was a shooting, and I'm like, wow. So I'm watching it live in real time as they cut, and then the narrative quickly shifts, and then we're all consumed in that and forgetting about these two innocent black lives who were just killed. And here's an example of the trickery. So as that was going on in Dallas, and I don't know what network because I was flipping between all three, CNN, MSNBC, and Fox. One of them, I think it was CNN, who was still showing the footage of what is going on in Dallas, okay? But the graphic with the location and the time still had Minnesota. And I was like, okay, I see. I see. Just like on Friday when the shooter came out and his name is Micah Xavier Johnson.
Exactly.
They want to say Micah X.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, media, you're okay. You're continuing on. Yes, you wanted to chime in?
I just wanted to pose a question to the group. Is this the new normal? Because I remember watching, when I watched that video, it was before it went national. I watched it, and I'm not going to lie, the outrage wasn't originally there. I'm like, we've been through this before. Here we go again. I text my friend, I'm like, this is about to dominate the news cycle for the next 3 months. Just a little bit. So I'm wondering, is this the new normal?
It seems that it does.
Well, it shouldn't be. And if I can respond to James, I think that we have a duty to make sure that it's not the new normal, that we address it and we keep at it every single time that it does occur, because whenever we step aside and we allow these things to kind of become the norm by shrugging it off or not paying attention to it, or as some of us would perhaps do because of a fear of negligence or whatever, then we allow that to become the norm. But we cannot let this happen. We have got to continue speaking. We have got to continue manifesting ourselves, and in a peaceful manner. I think it's important that we as a organized group stress the importance of, yes, we need to change this, but there is no more violence that needs to occur, period, on either end of this spectrum. Because if we get fueled by passion and perhaps anger and frustration, and then it evolves into something much more negative, at the end of the day, I feel like that takes away from the whole progress that we're trying to make.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to kind of talk about some connective tissue to all of what we're talking about,
Sure.
Especially as you talk about the sort of social construction of black and brown bodies and how media participates. Is this an ongoing new norm? Well, it's a part of these rituals or reference that's happened throughout history, right? After emancipation, there was lynching. Before that, there was the auction block. And now what we see is social media captures a sort of docilling or controlling of black bodies. And so what you see with these police officers and everyone is saying, look, you are still objects to be controlled. And so the construction we see on media is, look, this is something that's dangerous, something to be threatened by. And so whether it's the police force or state-sanctioned violence, what we see happening is all these bodies seem to be out of place when it comes in contact with these officers. And so I want to kind of, this is not something new. We are kind of seeing in history now a new normal since 2012, 2014, right? What's happened now is video cameras, right? So it's not a new instances, but what's become normal is now the capturing of this.
The documentation,
The documentation of all this. And I just kind of wanted to make those
I thought that Diamond was so brave with getting on Facebook Live and recording that experience. At first, I was like, why is she? But the more that I watched, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. She's actually kind of a hero to go live as this is going down in real time. And then I was like, okay, so once this is kind of over, what is the response to her going to be? And I was like, put some respect on that girl's name, because she did her thing. She was more calm than a cop.
Yeah. I think that we're definitely all in agreement of the necessity of sustaining peace. Well, creating peace, because the peace ain't there right now. And we're all on board with that. I think a lot of the issues is that it's like the propaganda. You wanna make it believe as though this is this versus that. Like if you believe Black Lives Matter, then you don't think anybody else's lives matter, right? And I think that we need to eliminate that idea. But additionally, it does start with where. It's like, okay, yeah, we want this, but what is our solution? What are we going to do to make sure that this happens and to create a new, refined, liberated society? And I was just talking yesterday I did a Zoom conference, a Zoom roundtable, and I was talking with many of the participants on there, and I had stated that a lot of us want to excuse things or may want to be a little bit on the fence about it. Like, well, it happened to him because it happened to the first gentleman, Alton, because he did kind of resist arrest. It happened to this next guy because he did tell him he had a handgun, concealed gun license. He should have known from the class he keeps his hands up at all times. It makes us say these things, and some people, well, I didn't, but I'm just saying, it makes a lot of people say these things because of fear. Because you want to believe and disconnect yourself that it cannot happen to you. If it could happen to a child playing in the park, it could happen to you. And it's important that we know that and not be afraid of knowing that, but more so, I think it comes from that level of understanding and getting that this is an issue. Mm-hmm. And instead of putting a Band-Aid over a bullet wound and acting as though, oh, well, I will do this the next time because, yeah, he complied, but it's always something but. It's always that but. And a lot of times we even believe it ourselves. And I see that ourselves. We need to face the truth. We need to face centuries-long freaking oppression. You know, we need to face that. And I know it's a lot of mess to clean up. And I know it's scary. We have centuries to clean up. We have centuries to clean up. So a lot of people want to make these excuses.
And I also think that it's important to, you know, now I have even been tempted myself to say, hey, y'all, let's make sure we keep peace. You know, and been sort of paralyzed in saying, how do you address this issue in the correct way, right? But I had to remember that, and that's just come from talking to others and then questioning myself, what is the truth?
Yes.
The truth is these protests have been peaceful.
They have.
The truth is we have always been peaceful people. The truth is we have not killed and murdered and oppressed this other, you know, these folks. That is the truth. We're not violent. The truth is a sniper, just like what happened, you know, I don't know if it was a whole month ago in Orlando. Yes. Someone who, you know, there's this violence that's happening in this country. And it stems from a lot of things. Yes. But the truth is that was not connected to this fight for justice, and it should not erase what we're doing. Exactly. So I think something else that we have to remind ourselves is, and I saw a few people, you know, sort of posting it sort of today, was that the fight is real. Mm-hmm. We have to continue on. We cannot allow fear or the fear of being misunderstood to stop us from doing what we know is right.
You know,
exactly.
I think one thing is that we have to recognize is that there's a figurative bear that are attacking black people, right? And in some instances, when we talk about these spaces, and in some instances where we try to police and control people's feelings and demand that people are at peace and demand that people feel this way and demand that people respond in this way, we are essentially asking the person that is being attacked by the bear to tame the bear.
Exactly.
We didn't create the bear. Like, we didn't invite the bear to begin to attack us. There's a system, there's racism, there's structural racism in place that is sicking this bear on us. So I think before we start to make those claims to people, while we do want to remain peaceful and while we don't want to answer violence with violence, understand that we are under attack and that we are not allowed to express grief. That's why I love that video. We are not allowed to grieve. We are not allowed to mourn. We are not allowed to be angry. We are not allowed to be loud. We can't scream. We can't yell. There are no safe spaces for us in this society. So when you ask a people to silence themselves in moments of extreme pain, and what happens is this pain is compounded. This pain is continuous. Like you mentioned earlier, we wake up as everybody wants to celebrate July 4th. Well, there was no independence for us in that day, right? So we want to celebrate July 4th, and those of us who choose not to are ostracized because we're not American. And then we wake up the next day and we see a video of a brother who is being shot point blank range, and we are watching this on a video feed on Facebook. We can't control the way in which we see this feed. It is auto-loaded feed. So whether or not I want to ignore it, I'm going to see it. Next day, I see another brother, same situation. So when we're not given that space while we are under attack, and we yet demand that people respond in a certain way, I think we're doing an injustice to our people. I think we have to create spaces for our folks, create opportunities for our folks to collectively grieve, because guess what? Tomorrow there'll be another hashtag, and it could be me.
Well, I wanted to touch on what Seconda was saying with the shooting that happened in Dallas. The overall, I guess, conversation about that is that it's supposed to serve as a distraction to what happened in the past couple of days with Sterling and Castile. But it shouldn't be a distraction, because it highlights the fact that there's such a huge problem. If you have someone that's killing, his reasoning, that it was told to us that his reasoning was that he did it because he was tired of what's going on. He was tired of seeing black people killed. He was mad at white cops. That doesn't distract from what's going on. It highlights it. It says there's an issue with this because someone is killing white police officers now. So, what's the next move? Because there's a negative feeling in this country right now, and especially when you have things like that happen. So it doesn't distract from it at all. It's a clear arrow, directly at it. It's saying this is something that you need to talk about, because now you got people gunning down white police officers, and everybody going to pay attention to that.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ask one thing. You got a brother that goes into a church during a prayer meeting and sits down and prays with individuals. They meet him, they talk with him, they welcome him, he opens fire. He walks out of this place, gets to go and get a Whopper with cheese, a value meal, a nice little Coke on the side. We don't know what this man said, because a robot was sent in that had a bomb, a robot carrying a robot with a bomb, drops it, and this brother is gone, but we can't get an opportunity. So, and we're told, like this brother said, I appreciate him for saying that, we're told what he said, but we were also told there was a brother who was carrying at that event that he was a suspect. And then we were also told, oh, sorry, our mistake, DPD on Twitter. This brother's just, he's to be considered. We just kind of want to ask him some questions. So how do we even know the truth?
We don't. I don't trust what they say anymore. And my experience with the police here in Houston, Texas has been fabulous. I don't have any issues, and I want to be clear, there are a lot of bad cops out there, and it's the bad ones.
I think that's an important point that you make. I think it's important that we remember that we can't paint everybody with the same brush.
And I think
you know what I'm saying?
That's definitely, to me, I think when people use that, I think it's kind of like common sense. It's kind of like that thing that everyone gets already, right? But what people not getting is that black people, minority people, people of color deserve that same level of respect. That's what we get that. I think it's to have to reinforce that there's great police officers. I personally haven't been encountered by police officers that have harassed me. I have law enforcement in my family. My uncle's a constable. I have that. So I have the utmost respect for law enforcement. Why when I'm trying to tell you what my pain is, as you stab yet another sword in my side, that, oh, I know this guy's stabbing me, but, oh, even though you're kind of not talking about it, I still know you're a good guy. We get that. That's common sense here. That's just how I look at it. I think that's common sense here.
Hold that right there. We are going to be back with more of this roundtable. You're listening to Access Houston. For those of you listening on Boom 92, if you want to go ahead and switch over to 97.9 The Box to continue to listen to this conversation, go there now. For those of you listening on Boom 92, thank you for listening to Access Houston. And for those that are listening on 97.9 The Box, we'll be back with more Access Houston. Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. We got a roundtable discussion. Joining me is BLM HTX, along with the Houston Millennials, and attorney Jermaine Hayden, who is in here. Come on up here. We got two lawyers in the building. Let's talk about the fraternity, the brotherhood, I'm not going to say that because I'll probably get in trouble. let's talk about police and how they have this code to protect their own, which I totally get. Okay. But the problem that I have is with the bad officers, all of the good ones out there, where you at?
Where you at?
Where your ass was at when the first time it happened? Where your ass was at when the second one happened?
Yeah.
You keep coming out. All of these, we're not all bad cops. We're not all bad cops. Well, where the hell are the good cops standing up against the bad cops? You know, that's why I so appreciated the young woman who put the video on Facebook, who said that no, this has to stop. This culture that they have within their, you know, system.
Yeah.
What? I mean, I don't think there's any way to try to combat that.
I think it just kind of depends on the situation, because I've seen really good cops become bad cops when they are placed in a situation where they have to, and there's another attorney in here, if he's done criminal law, I'm sure he knows. When you're in court and, you know, they may want something to go a certain way, and you can clearly tell that they are not being forthcoming or honest, that's when they become, you know, the bad cop. Because then it's about, you know, I don't care what they say. It's about numbers and, you know, certain things that they want to happen and perceptions and all of that. And in order to get those numbers, to get those raises, to keep those perceptions a certain kind of way, you will see some dishonesty come up in court. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man. Thoughts on any ideas of what to do next? As I was on social media, you know, Baller Alert, Shade Room, any of the ratchets, and I'm comment creeping, and I see that people are concerned, but they don't know what to do. They're like, you know, where is such and such coming out and speaking, and where is this person, and where is that, and where is that? And what I gathered from the comments is like people want to be involved, but they don't know where to start, and they're looking for that leader to say, hey, this is what we need to do. This is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So where do we start? I think I know, but I want to hear from you all.
I think that the number one thing that we need to do is to make sure that people don't grow apathetic to these issues. And I think that that's what we're starting to see.
We've been desensitized.
I don't want to believe that. I really want to hope that we're not desensitized, because the first thing I saw when I woke up on yesterday morning was the Philando Castile video. And personally, I could not stomach it. I've seen a million of these videos at this point, but this was the one that really broke me down, because there was a realization that there was not enough respect not only for the woman in the car, there was not enough respect for the child in the car. And the fact that she was doing this wasn't just her doing this and going live. That was courageous. But she caught the media before they could vilify this man's character. Right. And that is so important, because had she not caught this, it would have been this media against this media, and which one would have come out first? Of course, it's always the bad guy story. And here she is here reminding him, look, he's not a bad guy. He works every day. He's an educator. You shouldn't have to say these things when you're being pulled over. These are things that she's saying as she's watching her boyfriend or her fiance die in front of her eyes. The fact that she has to just fall on faith around the 4-minute mark, I think I recall to my friends, she's here praying because this is just such a hopeless and such a desperate situation. And the only thing that she can feel to protect her is faith.
And what really burned me up with both videos and both officers, they did not administer any aid.
No.
Just let them die.
Because we don't deserve that.
And you know, as the reports start to come out, you start to see people try to say things like, "Oh, the officers administer CPR." But we can see clearly on live. You can see clearly on live that this is not happening. But I'm starting to see stories come up saying officers were giving CPR, trying to change the narrative, even though it's live, it's right in front of our eyes. So at this point, we have the media and we have all of these stories coming out to gaslight us, which is essentially what they've been doing over the course of however many years. They're always telling us there isn't a problem. You're making a problem. This is your imagination. We are a colorblind society.
One race, the human race.
In one race, we are like, and they just continue to try to tell us this is not happening.
Yeah.
But the numbers show that black men are twice as likely to be searched when they get black and Latino men are twice as likely to be killed when they're pulled over by police. 3 times as likely to be searched when they're pulled over by police. But we're making this up, right? It's our imagination.
We're making it up. Yeah.
Importantly, I'm sorry. Important as it relates to sort of strategic, committed, sustained community engagement is something we've been thinking about as a collective. Is how do we create spaces, not only for persons to sort of share the amount of rage and in view of all of the absurdity, but how do persons who have different competencies and skills come together, create work groups to kind of engage in a long way. And something that we've begun to do, started last month. Every month we have general meetings now where we will have work groups and persons can come. This July 21st, we're opening to everybody at St. John's Church. Persons can come and there we'll begin the conversations, but also more than that, create avenues for lawyers and other folks to kind of work in work groups, those who are committed to the struggle, to kind of partner with folks. So that kind of coalition and building we think is important, is creating spaces, not for persons just to be angry, but how do I get involved in movement work in ways that sort of have integrity with what I do.
That is absolutely phenomenal, because that's exactly the point. You said, what's next? What do we do? The next step is we need to get these people, our people, appointed to positions of power. We need to have our people representing us. We need to have the cop that's representing that demographic to be and look like that demographic. And otherwise, they need to understand that connection is not there because you don't get it. You're not living it, you know? And then the problem that, like Samantha addressed, we have a fear of tempering with evidence. We have a fear of, I have to go live now, otherwise they're going to say whatever they want to say, right? And that happens with both of these cases. So there we see the insecurity in our law enforcement, because the lady Diamond had to go live in order to make sure that his case was not tampered with, right? And then the other gentleman, I'm not sure if you guys are aware or not, but the owner of the convenience store passed the surveillance video off first to the newscast, not to the police, because he was afraid of what the police was going to do, because he said, I just saw what you did in front of my parking lot. Why do you think I want to give you the footage?
They took it anyway.
But also to go and say about the platforms and those places that we can feel safe and voicing how we feel and creating, coming together and doing round tables and being strategic and creating plans as well. It's also expanded on a digital platform. I actually have started through LeBron Bay, my organization. We're doing these live videos on the second Tuesday of every month. The next one is actually next Tuesday. And where we get together from your phone. So you have no excuse if you don't have a car. If you can land on Facebook all day, you can definitely have it on your phone and join in and have your voice be heard, your ideas be heard, and speak on solutions as well. So definitely, I couldn't agree more about getting individuals in office that represent us, but also understanding how. We got to know how do we get these people in office and understanding the laws, how to vote, how voting works, and all that good stuff.
And I'm glad you said that too, because that's my thing is we have to vote.
Oh, yeah.
We really have to vote. I don't know if anybody has really paid attention. I'm sure, most people have, but there was a ruling that just came down from Supreme Court that, in my view, really eliminates a large portion of the Fourth Amendment. And this stop and frisk and all of that crap, those situations happen because the